Welcome to today's Explainer. We are going to dive straight into a truly fascinating and honestly pretty provocative 2023 text by an author named Shifeng. Usually when we think about improving our lives, we think about adding things, right? Acquiring more wealth, building bigger networks, climbing the corporate ladder. But the text we're looking at today flips that entirely upside down. It claims that transcending human struggle, essentially cultivating into a quote-unquote celestial being, is actually surprisingly easy. But there's a catch. You have to be willing to let go of absolutely everything society tells you is important. We're going to walk through the specific 8-step framework this author lays out. It's a radical approach to life, and we're going to unpack exactly how it works. Right off the bat, the source text hits us with this highly ironic and frankly striking observation. In truth, being a human or a ghost is even more challenging than being a pig or a dog. Wow. Think about that through the lens of this text. Begging for help? That's tough. Earning money? Incredibly hard. Seeking fame is an extreme challenge. And it doesn't stop there. The text points out that getting married is difficult, establishing a family is not easy, and providing for that family is an even greater struggle. By the time you add in the inevitable troubles of birth, aging, sickness, and death, the whole human experience starts looking incredibly heavy. Okay, let's dive into this ultimate choice the author presents. On one side, we have mortal life. This is characterized by all that endless toiling, racking your brain just to survive, chasing fame, managing crushing debt, and dealing with sickness. It's a life pretty much defined by its heavy burdens. But then we have the exact opposite, the celestial life, carefree, easy, and completely detached from all those worldly struggles. The author's premise is essentially this. Rather than exhaust yourself trying to win a rigged game of mortal struggles, it's actually much better and way less stressful to simply turn around and become a celestial being instead. Which brings us to the core question of our explainer today. What if becoming a celestial being isn't some impossible, mystical feat reserved for the ultra-elite, but is actually the easiest path of all? The author insists that taking this route is far easier than navigating the daily grind of human life. And to prove it, the text provides a very specific, practical 8-point rulebook to achieve this state. So today, we're going to explore this fascinating framework to see exactly how this low-stress, radical alternative is actually supposed to work. To make sense of the 8 rules, we've organized them into 3 main thematic pillars based on the source text. First up is thematic pillar 1, mastering material detachment. Before you can even think about achieving a celestial state of mind, the author argues you absolutely must strip away your physical and financial burdens. It's a total rejection of the exhaustion that comes with modern wealth and property accumulation. Notice how specific and uncompromising these rules are. Rule 1 advocates for a complete rejection of the traditional life path. No marriage, no starting a family, no buying a house, and no acquiring possessions. Rule 4 builds on this by stripping away ego. Do not wear gold or silver, don't crave vanity, and don't pursue fame. Finally, Rule 7 locks in this financial freedom. You must not borrow money or owe debts, nor should you desire extravagance or hoard wealth. The text makes the case that by completely avoiding the traps of property, luxury, and debt, you eliminate the very things that cause human suffering in the first place. Instead of chasing wealth, the text offers this beautiful, almost poetic imagery for how to live physically. The rules suggest that simple meals are all you need to nourish the body. You should be perfectly content sleeping under a thatched hut until dawn, surrounded by nothing more than a simple bamboo fence. But the most striking part? The author tells us to emulate the carefree nature of grass. Think about it. Grass doesn't worry about the weather. It simply accepts the wind, frost, rain, and snow exactly as they come, with zero anxiety. This is the author's ultimate picture of material and physical freedom. But physical and material detachment is really only the first step. That brings us to thematic pillar 2, escaping social and ideological pressures. To truly disconnect from the social grid, the text lays out some intense guidelines. Rule 2 is particularly fascinating. Do not talk about family or country, and incredibly, do not even talk about awakening or quote-unquote being a Buddha. Just work diligently and be content with having enough to eat. Rule 3 tells us to stop networking entirely. Literally, do not flatter, curry favor, or seek connections. And then Rule 5 takes it a step further by removing the burden of ambition altogether. You're instructed not to scheme for personal gain and, perhaps surprisingly, not to scheme for public welfare either. You shouldn't even discuss ideals or seek recognition. It's an absolute, total rejection of playing the societal game. Now, you might be wondering, does this mean you have to be completely isolated and alone? Well, not necessarily. The text offers one major exception to the no networking rule, and we find it right there in Rules 3. If, while on this detached path, you happen to encounter like-minded individuals who are also striving for the celestial state, you are absolutely encouraged to form bonds with them. You should assist each other and treat these specific individuals like family. So it's a very specialized, highly intentional form of community, built strictly around a shared commitment to this radically detached lifestyle. Moving right along, we arrive at the third and final psychological layer of this philosophy, thematic pillar 3, cultivating inner peace. Once you've detached from the material and the societal, the final hurdle is your own mind. To achieve inner peace, the final rules require a radical shift in how you process the world around you. Rule 6 states, do not talk about oneself or others and do not discuss right or wrong or even distinguish between good and evil. That is a massive mental step, right? Ignoring the urge to morally judge the world. Rule 5 adds another fascinating layer. Even if you possess profound knowledge of the world, you must not offer help unless it is specifically asked for. You have to let go of the urge to forcefully fix things. And finally, Rule 8 demands that you do not follow trends or conform to the masses. You essentially have to completely opt out of our collective human anxieties. And this brilliantly illustrates the text's ultimate goal of mental leisure. We get this great quote directly from Rule 6. The author's essentially saying that the universe, the divine net, has its own plan and its own accounting. It doesn't miss a single thing. So there is absolutely no need for you to stress over the grand, complicated issues of right and wrong or the fate of the entire world. Instead, your job is to sit back, enjoy a simple life, and just discuss everyday, mundane things like crops, the mulberry and hemp, while drinking tea. It is a profound call to ultimate surrender of control. This brings us to the culmination of the author's entire framework, the final step, the celestial choice. We've detached materially, we've stepped away from societal pressure, and we've quieted our judging minds. Now it's about how you ultimately choose to view the entirety of your human experience. This perfectly captures the essence of Rule 8. The author tells us that life on Earth, with all its conformity, stress, and endless drama, is really just a fleeting moment. It's a flash in the pan. By contrast, the celestial climb asks for bravery. It asks you to bravely climb toward the celestial world by doing something incredibly simple, laughing heartily and forgetting everything. You look at the temporary nature of earthly existence, and instead of letting it weigh you down, you just laugh it off. In the ninth and final point, Xu Feng promises that even mere mortals like us can truly taste what it is like to be a celestial being if we can accomplish these steps. So it leaves us with this thought. If earthly life really is just a fleeting moment filled with unnecessary struggle, are you ready to stop toiling, laugh it all off, and give the celestial path a try?